Serious men, what's something that would surprise women about life as a man? How much a little attention or a genuine compliment can mean to us, especially if it makes us feel wanted. As a rule, 99 of the time no one gives us compliments, positive feedback, or shows desire for us. Hell, we're trained to dismiss anything we do here that just being polite or very paid to act friendly, etc. Most guys I know have ridiculously little information to base their self-image on. For some, they decide they're awesome anyway and say fuck it. For others, they decide they're losers and give up. It's almost pure chance which way they go and has almost nothing to do with objectively how good-looking awesome a guy actually is. And any genuine compliment that gets through to us will be remembered by a guy forever. If it's from a highly respected or highly attractive person, it can literally change their life. Ask your guy when was the last time someone really complimented him and what effect it had. They may not be able to talk about it well, but they'll remember it, and it meant something to them more than you'd expect. Ask any guy to tell you about the time the attractive girl, respected friend, respected teacher, whatever did or said something that made him actually believe he was worth something. If it ever happened, they'll remember it and it'll have left a mark. Don't be surprised if it never happened though. Men are used to 99 of the time having no worth as a person, only mattering for what we've done, not really being seen and not really being cared about. And when someone really sees us, or shows that we matter, it leaves an impression. I'm not sure how different this is for women. It's not like we have an exclusive on insecurity, but the general amount of attention, reassurance, support, etc. that women get seems to me to be significantly higher than men. I think it would surprise them by how much though that it's not like women 80, men 70 or something. It's more like men 0 and that messes with guys. To give a guy a real compliment, I think that they'd be surprised by what constitutes a man's fantasy when it comes to romance. Many women would probably think that a man just fantasizes about the kind of thing that you see in various adult videos. Sure, we have an animalistic side that thinks about that. But when we think with our heart, we fantasize about something completely different. When it comes to romance, a man, typically, is expected to take on a very active role. He's expected to make the first move and do something or be something to prove his worth to her right away. He's expected to walk up to her and put on a good enough show in order to qualify as a candidate. He needs to be charming and funny and other beguiling enough to receive a passing mark on the entrance exam to dating. For a man, dating is work. It's a lot of work. He needs to put his heart and soul into a performance that is enough to be noticed. But in society it's the opposite for a woman. She is allowed to just be there. She just needs to exist and be visible, and it's expected that she just needs to be available for a man to put on his display. Dating for a woman is far more passive. He comes to her and puts on his show, and then she decides if he gets the chance to move on to the next round of trying to impress her. The typical romantic fantasy from a woman's perspective is for a man to come and sweep her off of her feet. It's for the man to put on such a good, enchanting show that there's no way that she could possibly reject his advances. Her fantasy is to have the ultimate active partner. So, here's the point of all of this. A man's romantic fantasy is just be accepted for who he is. Men are tired of having to constantly put on a show. They're tired of putting so much of themselves into trying to read a woman in order to be this wonderfully charming individual to pass her barrier of entry. He's tired of having so much on the line and then waiting those gut-wrenching moments where she's silently deciding, over the course of their attempt, whether he gets the thumbs up or thumbs down. A man just wants to be wanted for who he is on a regular basis. He wants someone who stand by his side and support him even when he can't be on. He wants a moment to feel what's it like to have that more passive role where someone else makes him feel desirable simply for being there. He wants a partner to show him that he matters for no reason other than being recognized as someone who actually does matter. A man just wants to be wanted.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do, anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
I remember my wife asked me years ago, "Hey, get any compliments on your bald head?" It was a drastic change, shaved head. She thought it fit my style. At the time, I only worked with guys. She looked amazed and shocked when I laughingly replied, "Are you serious?" Doubt anyone noticed. She thought I was heartbroken, but in reality I would have been surprised if anyone did compliment. Wording. We feel everything the same as girls. That compliment, that insult, that breakup. We also like to be cuddled and have a girl play with our hair. I'll probably delete this because of embarrassment soon, which kind of proves that men aren't allowed feel this way. When you think a guy has no interest in you, he's probably thinking the same thing about you. When you think a guy has to make the first move, he's probably afraid to make the first move. Men don't just want sex. While we like it very much, we also want love and affection. While men are labeled studs or players if you sleep with many girls, there is no real joy in it, only to raise our self-esteems. What we really want is a relationship who you can be yourself with. I've never posted something like this before. Something physical. When it's cold or the penis is exposed, it can shrivel up and look really small. Please don't judge a man's penis size by his flaccid willy. Right, well, not one, but two fuckers have gilded this, so I guess I won't be deleting. I could go into reams of detail about each point. They were just thrown in randomly off the top of my head. The main points everyone seems to agree with though. We love girls playing with our hair, getting cuddly and affectionate, etc. And about the sex thing, I think this guy put it pretty well. As a college-aged male, I can attest to this. I've had only one relationship in my entire life, and it was in high school. But I've also lost count with the amount of women I've been with. It feels good and definitely boosts your confidence, but it's only temporary happiness. I'd rather have a meaningful relationship than any of my past hookups. Also glad everyone understands the penis situation. So after feeling embarrassed about posting this initially, I don't mind now, thanks Reddit. I also think a lot of guys who get friend-zoned are essentially confused by a girl who gives them a compliment. Compliments happen so rarely for guys that it must mean something, while the girl is used to giving casual compliments and receiving them. So she thinks she did a totally friendly thing, which it is. Except for the guy, it is a rare and unique thing that happened. A few, how much shit we give each other as banter from a young age. Borderline bullying at times, but has definitely helped us man up. Not every guy is a handyman. Body image issues affect us greatly. It's overlooked as we don't share it, as we generally don't have the same level of emotional support that women provide each other. Most common advice we have is to just deal with it. I like kids. Kids are funny, they like breaking rules to have fun, and they still have an imagination. I don't fuck kids. Hell, I hardly fuck adults either, but that's beside the point. A girl I went on a date with last week showed me a picture of this adorable little boy, her neighbor's son, and told me sometimes she goes to the neighbor's house just to see him. When I told her that I didn't think that would ever be the case for me, she seemed sad and asked why. "Oh, I'm a guy." "Hello, Susan. It would make my night if I could take your goofy 6-year-old daughter out for ice cream. I had a very depressing day. You can fuck off before I call the police. How's that?" "That works too. Have a nice night. See you never." I think most women would be surprised to learn that our piss doesn't always come out in a nice, steady, straight stream. My wife still assumes I have no aim because of the times where it may be coming out more in a splash manner or the stream is just completely directed haywire. I'm a guy with kids and a wife who is a nurse that works nights. It's almost impossible for me to go do stuff with them without someone saying something about daddy duty or mom got a free day today, huh? It's ridiculous. Not every male with a child out there is some deadbeat parent who only hangs out with their kids when they absolutely have to. The problem is media portrayal of certain manly tropes. I served 10 years in the military and once watched a room full of females go a bit starry-eyed at an actor on television in army uniform. One of them blurted out, "That's a real man," whilst the other soldiers and Marines looked over in confusion. We were all in Iraq at the time. Explain how an actor on television portraying manly military service is more manly than an actual military service person overseas serving. Men simply cannot compete with the ideals being portrayed to modern society. Bear in mind that almost all romantic fiction for females actually boils down to a man stalking and possessing a female despite rejection. Gilded. Wow. First time ever.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack's Pillar Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
My friend does this. I hate the romanticization of distant, unavailable women because she buys right into it and is trying to emulate it. Again and again, there will be a guy in the picture and they really seem to be great guys. They're respectful, they don't play games, they make their intentions clear. She'll purposely ignore them, push back dates just to let them know she's not always available, not react to flirting half the time, just to keep him on his toes. I told her again and again not to do this if she wants a healthy relationship, which she does. And again the guy will slowly stop responding, make excuses when she gets confused enough to ask him out on a date, and then the guy will have moved on. She'll rant about how guys just can't handle her. I used to try to convince her to treat the guy with the respect that he's giving her, but she accused me of trying to change who she is. I just kind of listen now. To be honest, I wasn't trying to change who she is. I wanted to convince her to improve some of her habits though, like being manipulative. She was purposely reacting in a way to manipulative his reactions, and I don't think that's cool, but apparently to her it is. We are taught from a young age that things don't happen to you, they happen because of you. You got a raise at work. Clearly you're a hard worker. Have a wife. Obviously you wooed her correctly. Got divorced. You fucked up. She just fell out of love with you. You should have fought harder for her. You're depressed. You need to suck it up. From my experience, women talk about sex with their friends much more, and in much more graphic detail than men talk about the same subject with other guy friends. I guess my point is that men aren't as sleazy and gratuitous as most women make us out to be. You have to be scared of kids. For example, one time I was in the supermarket and a little kid came up to me and told me he was lost. But because people jump to call men pedophiles in the US, instead of walking the kid to the front or trying to help him find his mom and dad, I had to tell him to stand there and not to move, and I went to the front and got an employee. Now here's the craziest thing. The first employee I found was male, and his response was hang on. It's store policy that male employees don't handle these situations. So he had to go get a female employee who then helped the kid out. I asked the guy after why that was the policy, even though I kinda knew the answer, and he explained to me that it's happened before just in this store alone, where a male employee had gone to comfort a crying kid or help them find their parents, and either the parents or a stranger has accused them of trying to kidnap them. So if you haven't thought about this before, there you go. Now if you see guys walking past a kid who's lost, you know why a lot of them are. It's not a lack of wanting to help, it's the intense fear of being falsely labeled something. I'd say women would be surprised by how little support men have. Even when we're surrounded by people, it's very easy to feel completely on your own. Similarly, men almost never receive compliments or reassurance. I don't think most women will ever truly understand that admittedly major part of the male experience. Funnily enough, I've been meaning to watch a short documentary about this woman who lives as a man for a year, at the end of which she decided life as a woman was indeed favorable. Me subject with other guy friends. I guess my point is that men aren't as sleazy and gratuitous. My sex conversations with guys. Friend, have you had sex with her? Me, yeah. Friend, nice. Continues conversation about plan of attack under apocalyptic zombie scenario. How much we would like to feel wanted and not simply useful or needed. How much pressure there is on us in terms of body image. We hear about all the crap women go through, but ever stop to think about all the dick-sized jokes? That alone can cause insecurity, and that doesn't even touch things like losing your hair, graying, muscle mass, etc. That we really do care about a lot more than society says we do. We're just not allowed to show it because that's a sign of weakness, and we're taught at a young age that you have to put up a perfect image or no one will ever want you. When my dog died, I went with my family and girlfriend at the time. I was 20. After they put him down, I went out of the room and cried in my girlfriend's arms. I apologized heavily for it over and over. Even when talking to it about a friend later, I tried to downplay the crying, and he told me, "What do you expect? For me to tell you fuck you for crying, you pussy bitch? Your goddamn dog died, of course you cried. Definitely that we also enjoy compliments." I just got out of a 4-year relationship, and during some reminiscing thoughts, I realized she never once told me I looked nice or called me handsome or anything. I told her she was beautiful every day for 4 years, and I don't even know if she found me attractive. Holy upvotes. Thanks to those who called me a cutie patootie. I have high self-esteem, which is probably why I didn't notice what was going on till after we broke up. I learned a long time ago that no one is going to love me the way I love me. She was a good girl. I'm sure she didn't realize she was doing it. When pretty much everyone was 12, it was a different story. Girls were just as horny as boys, very likely, the same confusing raging hormones. But society pushes that girls shouldn't be into that, so it's better hidden. A shit ton of people telling me that I'm totally scientifically wrong, or saying either I live in a matriarchy or evolution is wrong because it's been proven men want to spread their seed more. Look, I believe in science and evolution, but maybe the overarching theories and specifics of evolution just don't apply to personal human emotion, brains, and sexualization.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
In my experience, men make jokes that are more graphic and vulgar in content, whereas women share details that are more graphic. My male friends will make some truly vile and hilarious jokes, but I know that my co-worker's husband has a dick so big she jokes that he needs a separate towel for it after he showers. When I met him, 90 of my energy went into not blurting out "Congrats on the massive dick you've got there, I prefer the jokes." That also becomes a catch-22. A compliment a guy. It could change his life. B compliment a guy as a gesture of friendship. C guy thinks the woman is hot for him. D guy discovers the woman is not hot for him, complains about getting friendzoned. No wonder women hesitate to compliment men. This has gotten much more response than expected, overwhelmingly positive thanks. In response to a smattering of other comments, there's no need to not all men this. Basically, it only takes a few serious overactions for the average woman to reduce how much she says, "Well done." Assume for purposes of discussion that most women don't want to be hassled either with unwanted come-ons or with any weird set of rules for her to preemptively eliminate any possible sexual misreadings. The path of least resistance for her is to not give compliments. If that state of affairs okay by you, fine. If you want things to change, then strategically you're better off occasionally taking aside a bro and explaining to him what's what. Most of the time that's she's just not into you. In general in life, when you set up hurdles to doing something, then the thing happens less, so lecturing normal women about how to compliment is not going to increase their frequency of compliments. Yes, it's also true that a smattering of women are narcissistic head cases. Those people won't benefit from a lecture anyway. In those instances, the what's what advice is to tell your friend she doesn't seem right in the head. It is very rare to find a company or place of work that allows men to follow a seasonal dress code. It's really hot in the summer. Women can wear dresses or skirts. Men are still wearing suits. It would be nice to be able to wear a nice pair of shorts if it's really hot out. We also like to be cuddled. I've been single for about a year now, and this is what I miss most. Just holding her and being held. Having another human body in your personal bubble, right up against you, and just being. Whoa, clearly this struck a chord. To everyone who shared their stories, thanks, and keep your chin up. Also, in some cities there are services that will let you hire someone to cuddle with you. I'm completely serious. Rejection. We have to deal with rejection on an entirely different level. Women will get depressed when they don't get approached enough. We're taught that we have to play a numbers game. We're expected to approach woman after woman, get rejected to our face, not let it affect us on any personal level, and continue on to the next woman until we find someone who's game. We can't let the rejections affect our ego at all, no cracks in our armor allowed. Because the number one thing a guy has to have is confidence. Gotta have confidence, bro. Don't let women get you down, there's another one out there. It's to the point where I want to call it confidence shaming. So to a point you have to develop sociopathic tendencies and kill your sense of empathy so you can maintain your ego. That's what it takes to not give a shit about the women who reject you. And that has consequences.
Do you have any idea how convenient it is to use a Keurig machine for brewing coffee or tea? Personally, I gave up coffee a long time ago, but I was able to get a great, delicious cup of coffee in just seconds with no cleanup, no extra work, using a Keurig machine and a K-cup. And now I use my Keurig machine to brew tea, loose leaf tea, every day that I drink. And I also use it to make oatmeal and, anything else that you can put hot water into. So if you don't have a Keurig machine in your house, you're missing out. Try my affiliate link below in the description of the video, and you too can enjoy a great cup of coffee in seconds any time of day.